guys, welcome back to my channel. And in today's recipe, we're going to be making slow cooker chipotle chicken tacos. So all you need for today's recipe is you just need some chicken thighs, okay? You also need 2 tablespoons of chipotle and adobo sauce. You need, here, I'll read it off this paper. You need 12 boneless chicken breast, 1 cup of frozen peppers and onions, 3 tablespoons of honey, 2 tablespoons of chipotle and adobo sauce, 2 tablespoons of minced garlic, and salt and pepper. Oh, and you also need a half a cup of chicken broth. Okay, so what we're gonna do first, now, before I continue, I'm gonna tell you something. I got a brand new crock pot. Now, this crock pot is programmable, and I figured, I know you guys have seen me use my Instant Pot a lot for the slow cooker, but I got a new crock pot, and we're going to start using this crock pot for all of our videos. So any crock pot recipe I make and I record, I will start using this slow cooker, okay? And it's programmable. So we're going to go ahead and open it up, and first thing we do is we always give it a nice spray. So we're going to spray the inside of this real good. And this is going to be cooking on low for between 4 and 6 hours. But it's about 12 now, so we're going to go for 6 hours on low. And I spray just the inside and the sides. You want to make sure nothing sticks to the bottom. It's very important that you spray the slow cooker good, because what you don't want your chicken to stick towards the bottom. So now that I got that sprayed, I'm going to take my chicken thighs. Now, you want to make sure also that you wash your hands really, really well before you start touching raw meat. Because once you touch raw meat, you got to wash your hands. This is poultry, okay? Alright, so you're going to put your chicken thighs in your slow cooker. Now, I will say they do have a little bit of fat. And we've kind of talked about the fat before. Fat equals flavor, but when there's this much fat on it, look, see? When there's pieces of fat hanging, I don't like to add that to my chicken. Okay? So you're going to put it in your greased slow cooker. And this is going to make a lot. Now, we will be shredding this later on after it's cooked. So after these after these chicken thighs cook for about 6 hours, then I will come back in here and I will be shredding these chicken thighs. So all we're doing is we're taking our chicken thighs and we're placing them in our greased slow cooker. And you want to make sure that you oil your slow cooker really good, because sometimes when you cook chicken in your slow cooker for a long period of time, sometimes it'll stick. And that's something you don't want when you make any sort of recipe, honestly. Alright, so I got my chicken in there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to wash my hands. And then we will come back and we'll start measuring things, because this recipe, I will say it is a dump and go meal, but we do have to measure some of the ingredients still. All right, so wash my hands and I'll come back and we'll start measuring everything. Now this particular recipe video, I have made before, but the last time we made it, it was actually really good. Now, I know normally when I make slow cooker chicken tacos, I normally put salsa verde in it. But this time we're not doing that. We're actually making this recipe, and I think this recipe is going to be good too. Okay? I've also made, if you guys have also seen my slow cooker chicken fajita video, that recipe is good too. Okay, so to the chicken breast, we have to actually read off the directions, because I'm actually following the directions. I need to measure out a cup of frozen peppers and onions, which I've already done here. So like I said, I've gotten some of this stuff measured. Not all of this stuff was measured, but I got most of it. But I got most of it measured, okay? So we're just gonna put this around the chicken. And then I'm gonna add to the chicken, we're also gonna add 3 tablespoons of honey. But I'm gonna show you something. We're gonna add, actually, this is the honey. We're gonna add add all of it to the slow cooker. So that's one good thing about slow cooking. Now, anytime you Now with this, since we're doing it out of the bottle, we have to actually pour this into our chicken. So I know honey can be a little bit of an issue, and it comes out fairly slow. So you'll have to just, have some patience, and you're gonna pour it all over. Come on out. Yeah, see? This is gonna be kind of sweet. And you see what I'm doing? I'm literally just pouring it all over the chicken and the veggies and everything, so that way it can get all nice and flavorful. Okay? This is gonna make it so flavorful. And that's what you want. So you wanna make sure you pour this all over your chicken thighs. Okay? It has to be flavorful. So we're pouring it literally all over. Okay, we want to make sure that this is nice and flavorful. Now, this recipe you can do it. It's very easy to make, and it's very. I know what you're thinking. It looks like almost we're making like chicken fajitas, and you can think that, but we're using chipotles and adobo sauce, which are very spicy, and we're not adding a lot because chipotles and adobo sauce are very spicy, and we don't want to overpower the dish. Okay, so once you have your honey in there, see, I have it all over my chicken, and I will show you the crock pot after we're all done measuring. Come on out of there. All right, so the honey's done. So once I have the honey measured, I'm gonna take the next ingredient, and I'm gonna use my right hand for this. I'm gonna measure 2 tablespoons of chipotles and adobo sauce. Now, this, as I said, is very spicy, so you don't need a lot of this. You want to make sure you get the actual chipotle. Okay? Here's one. And it's okay if you get some of the sauce, that's fine. It's flavor. And then here's 2 tablespoons. Okay? Now, a little bit of that juice in there for the flavor too. Why not? That's going to give it its own flavor. Now, you do not have to add the chipotles and adobo sauce. If you want to, you can leave it out completely. But I like it. I like the flavor of it. Okay, now because this has kind of the chipotle, the sauce from it, I'm going to rinse this because when I do my garlic, I don't want it to go into the garlic. Okay, that's kind of not... This is not good. So I'm going to rinse this off and then I'll come back. Now, so far with this recipe, we're doing a great job. We just have a couple more things to do before we can put our lid on and set it and forget it. And as you know, with crock pot meals, I love them because honestly, they're very easy to make and they're very easy to put together. Now, if you wanted to, you could, and I'm not saying it's a bad idea because I have done this before. You could put frozen chicken in the crock pot. You can obviously make this, now you can make this recipe before you go off to work. So say you're going off to work in the morning, before you go to work in the morning, you could put frozen chicken breast in here and cook it for like 6 to 8 hours, add all your ingredients in, and when you come home from work, your meal is basically done, okay? But I don't do that because I don't really like the flavor or the taste of frozen chicken myself, but you know, it's just an optional thing. Okay, so the next thing we need after the chipotles and adobo sauce, we're gonna measure out 2 tablespoons of garlic. So with the garlic, as we know, this big tablespoon does not fit in here. Okay, so we have to grab a little spoon here, and I'm gonna measure out 2 tablespoons of garlic. Now it may not be exact measurement, but that's fine because a little extra garlic never hurt anybody. Okay, so we're measuring out 2 tablespoons of garlic. And you want to make sure you put this all around your chicken. Okay, this does have a lot of flavor in it, I will say. Okay, and remember with the chipotles and adobo sauce, you do not want to add too many because this is a dish. We don't want to make this too spicy. Okay, because those chipotles and adobo sauce are very spicy. There's 1 tablespoon. Now we have to measure out 1 more. Okay, and we're going to make this count. Okay, so we want to make sure it's a good tablespoon. We do it over the crock pot so that way I'm not making a mess. And you want to make sure that your slow cooker, or that your measurement, when you measure, guys, please make sure that you measure, you do exact measurement, you fill it, okay? It's got to be full, okay? That's all I say when I measure, is that you make sure that it's full. All right, so here's 2 tablespoons, and I'm going to put it all over the chicken, okay? This is going to be a great dish, obviously. Okay, so the next thing we're adding, let's see what else we need. That was garlic, okay? We also need, oh, that's it. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to pour in at this point is my chicken broth. This is going to give it its own liquid. So just pour it all over. Okay, and don't worry, guys. I know that was only a little bit of liquid, but it is going to, the chicken and everything will get into the mixture. So it will, obviously, there's going to be a lot more liquid coming out of the chicken, and it will get even more flavorful. So let me show you what our crock pot looks like. So this is what the crock pot looks like. See, and I kind of have to aim down, but look, see, that's what your slow cooker should look like. Everything's in there. It's all done. Now, let me clean up here, and then we will come back and we'll put the lid on, because I got some cleaning up to do. Because, as we know, of course, the fun part is cooking, but what some people don't like to do, they don't like to clean up after themselves. And I think, you know, when you don't do that, that's kind of being lazy. So, I'm going to clean up here, and then come back and we'll show you what we're going to do next. Now, as I mentioned before about this recipe. This recipe is very, very simple to make. Because all that, now, as you know, you guys saw me what I did. That was very simple to make. It only took about, maybe it took me about 5 minutes to assemble that pot. And like I said, if you wanted to, you can put frozen chicken in the crock pot, and you can cook, and before you go to work, just put your chicken in your crock pot, and you can cook it for 6 to 8 hours. But as I said before, I don't like to do that because I don't like the flavor of it. And 2, I don't like the taste of frozen chicken cooking in the crock pot. Now, I have done that before, but I don't do that anymore. I usually just let my chicken thaw out, and then I make my chicken, whatever meal I'm making. Now, this particular recipe was very simple to make. If you guys want the recipe for my slow cooker chipotle chicken tacos, then you guys know where to go. You guys know to go to my channel, and I will upload this video, and you guys will be able to see the recipe for the slow cooker chipotle chicken tacos. Okay? All right. So I got all the dishes done, which is good, because that's what we want. Now, you're going to take, the next thing you do, you're going to take your lid, you're going to put your lid on your crock pot, and of course, we're going to plug it in. Now, let me show you how this crock pot works, because so many people have said, oh, I don't know how the crock pot works. So let me show you. This is, like I said, this is a brand new slow cooker. So it's very similar to the other one that I had, but mostly different. It's a little different, okay? Okay, so this crock pot, now, if you guys remember, the last crock pot we had a program setting and it had a select. This crock pot has a select setting. So I'm going to select low, and then I hit time. Now, this time, let's see, it says 4 to 6 hours. We're going to go 6 hours because it's already 12:24. So that's it. It's on low, 6 hours, and there's no start button. So once we hit the temp, once we hit select, all it's going to do, it just starts cooking. So I'll be back in 6 hours to show you what our crock pot chipotle chicken tacos look like. I will be shredding it, and then we will, I'll show you what they look like. Now, a quick tip, and let me finish cleaning up here. A quick tip for you guys. If you guys don't want to use the chipotles and adobo sauce, you guys can certainly leave them out of the recipe if you guys don't want to use that. Because I know some people don't like them, or they have never had them before. So if you don't again, if you don't like the chipotles and adobo sauce, you do not have to add them to your crock pot. You can leave them out completely. It's okay. Some people don't like a lot of spicy food, and that's fine. But me, I like it. So I go ahead and add it. Okay? So, again, we're going to cover it, and we're going to cook this on low for 6 hours until the chicken is tender and until everything is cooked through. So I'll come back in 6 hours and show you what it looks like. Bye. Vlog on. Peace out. Boom. Okay. Bye, guys.